The thing about the ocean that keeps me up at night, we've only explored about 5% of it. 5%. That means 95% of Earth's oceans remain completely untouched by human eyes. And here's what makes that terrifying. In that tiny sliver we have explored, we've found things that genuinely shouldn't exist. I'm not talking about myths. I'm not talking about sailors' tales or cryptids that live in blurry photographs. I'm talking about real creatures, documented by science, captured on camera, studied in laboratories. Animals that look like they were designed by someone having a nightmare. You know that feeling you get when you're swimming in deep water and you can't see the bottom? That primal instinct that tells you something is down there watching you. Well, your instincts aren't wrong. They're actually trying to protect you. Because what we've discovered lurking in the depths is the stuff of genuine horror. Today, I'm going to show you 7 of the scariest real-life sea monsters ever documented. And I need to warn you, each one is more terrifying than the last. We're going to start with creatures that look like they crawled out of prehistory, and by the end, you'll understand why ancient sailors spoke of sea. Monsters with absolute terror in their voices. These aren't exaggerations. These aren't Hollywood creations. Every single creature you're about to see is real. It's out there right now. And honestly, if you make it through all 7 without feeling that cold tingle down your spine, you're braver than I am. So let's descend into the abyss together. Let's see what nightmares are actually swimming beneath us. And let's find out just how much terror you can handle. Asterisk number 7. The Frilled Shark. January 2007. Awashima, Japan. A group of fishermen hauled their nets up from the deep and found something that made them physically recoil. It was long serpentine, moving in a way that sharks just don't move. They managed to capture footage before it died, and when that video hit the internet, marine biologists around the world had the same reaction. How is this thing still alive? Because the frilled shark is a relic, a ghost from Earth's distant past that somehow never got the memo that it was supposed to go extinct. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine an eel had a nightmare about being a shark. That's what this thing looks like. A dark brown serpentine body that can reach up to 6.5 feet long. But it's the mouth that'll haunt you. When a frilled shark opens its jaws, you're staring at 300 needle-sharp teeth arranged in 25 rows. 25 rows. Each tooth is designed with 3 vicious points, all angled backward. You know what that means, right? Anything that touches those teeth cannot escape. It's a one-way ticket down that throat, and here's the thing that makes this creature genuinely nightmarish. That jaw unhinges, just like a snake. The frilled shark can open its mouth wide enough to swallow prey that's half its own. Body size, whole. It strikes like a viper, lunging forward with surprising speed, and once those jaws clamp down, it's over. Now, you might be thinking, okay, scary shark, but why is this different from any other deep-sea predator? Here's why. This animal has been virtually unchanged for 80 million years. 80 million. That means frilled sharks were hunting the oceans before the Tyrannosaurus rex even existed, before the dinosaurs went extinct. Before mammals took over the land, this creature looked exactly like this when your ancestors were small. Furry things hiding in burrows. It's what scientists call a living fossil. An evolutionary dead end that stopped evolving because it didn't need to. It found its perfect form millions of years ago and just ... stayed that way. A flawless predator with no reason to change. The frilled shark lives in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, typically between 600 and 1,000 meters down. That's why we so rarely see them. They patrol the abyss where the pressure would kill most creatures instantly, hunting in complete darkness. Using sensors along their bodies to detect the slightest movement in the water, that 2007 capture, that was a dying specimen. It came to shallow water because something was wrong with it. And even in its death throes, it terrified experienced fishermen who'd spent their entire lives on the ocean. So here's the question that should keep you up at night. If this prehistoric nightmare is still down there, perfectly preserved across 80 million years of evolution, ... what else is lurking in that unexplored 95%? What other living fossils are we yet to discover? But here's the thing about ancient creatures. Being old doesn't necessarily make you the deadliest thing in the ocean. Sometimes the real nightmares are the ones that evolved recently. The ones that developed new and horrifying ways to hunt. Which brings us to number 6. Number 6. The goblin shark. Imagine you're in a deep-sea submersible. You're at 1,200 meters below the surface. It's pitch black outside except for your lights. And then, pressed against the glass porthole, you see a face. A long blade-like snout. Translucent pinkish skin. Small, dark eyes. Teeth like rusty nails jutting out at odd angles. And then, its jaw shoots forward. 3 inches and 3/10 of a second. Like something out of Alien? That's the goblin shark. And it's the reason deep sea. Researchers have trust issues. This thing lives deeper than almost any other shark species on Earth. We're talking below 1,200 meters. In a zone of perpetual darkness and crushing pressure. And because it lives so deep, where there's zero sunlight, its skin has this horrifying translucent quality. It's pinkish, almost see-through. You can see the blood vessels beneath the surface, which gives it this fleshy, unfinished look. Like something that's not quite done being created. But the skin is nothing compared to that face. The goblin shark has what's called a rostrum. That's the long, flat, blade-like protrusion that extends from its snout. It looks like someone jammed a sword into this shark's face and it just stayed there. And covering that snout are thousands of specialized sensors called ampulla of Lorenzini. These detect the bioelectric fields given off by living creatures. Hearts beating, muscles contracting. In total darkness, this shark can sense your body's electricity from meters away. But here's where it gets truly nightmarish. That jaw. Most sharks have to swim at you to bite. They have to get close, maybe bump you first. Not the goblin shark. Its jaw is on a hinge mechanism. When it detects prey, the entire jaw structure catapults forward out of its mouth. 3 inches of extension in less than half a second. Those nail-like teeth shoot out, clamp down, and retract back into the mouth, dragging the prey with it. It's a slingshot mechanism. A biological bear trap that launches from the shark's face. Scientists have only ever captured or observed around 50 specimens of this shark. 50. In the entire history of marine biology. It's so rare, so deep-dwelling, and most of what we know comes from dead individuals that washed ashore or got caught in deep-sea fishing nets by accident. In 2014, a research team in the Gulf of Mexico captured footage of a living goblin shark. You can hear the genuine shock in the scientists' voices. One researcher literally said it looked like something that shouldn't exist on Earth, and that's why it's called the goblin shark. It's a living fossil, unchanged for millions of years, but it also looks like an alien nightmare. Like nature looked at the concept of a shark and said, what if we made it wrong? What if we made it horrifying? The worst part, this thing hunts in absolute total darkness. Its prey never sees it coming. Just the sudden sensation of a jaw exploding forward from the blackness. No warning. No escape. You'd think that's as strange as sharks could possibly get, right? Ancient predator, mechanical jaw, lives in the abyss. That's peak nightmare fuel. But what if I told you there's a shark out there that's even more mysterious? One so elusive that science didn't even know it existed until 50 years ago. And when you see its mouth, you'll understand why some things are better left undiscovered. Number 5. The megamouth shark. Here's a question that should genuinely disturb you. How does an 18-foot shark, the size of a large car, remain completely unknown to science until 1976? How does something that massive stay hidden for the entire history of human ocean exploration? And more importantly, what else that size is still hiding down there? The megamouth shark is a mystery wrapped in an enigma, swimming somewhere in the dark. Since its discovery nearly 50 years ago, there have been only around 100 confirmed sightings. 100. For a creature that weighs over a ton and can reach 18 feet in length, that's not rare. That's practically invisible. And when you finally do see one, that mouth will be burned into your memory forever. Picture this: 4 feet wide, When a megamouth shark opens up to feed, you're staring into a cavern, a massive, gaping void lined with tiny teeth and something far more unsettling. Photophores, those are bioluminescent organs that glow in the darkness. This shark's mouth literally lights up, like a beacon in the deep ocean, attracting plankton and krill, which swarm toward the light and get filtered right down its throat. Now I know what you're thinking. It's a filter feeder. It eats plankton. That's not scary. But imagine you're diving at night, and from the darkness below, you see a soft glow approaching. It gets bigger and bigger, and then this enormous mouth opens right beneath you. 4 feet of glowing cavern, and you realize you're small enough to fit inside it. The megamouth doesn't want to eat you, but that doesn't make the sight any less nightmare-inducing. Here's what makes this shark truly terrifying, though. We have no idea where it goes. Scientists believe it performs vertical migration, meaning it spends its days at depths of potentially 15,000 feet or more. That's nearly 3 miles down. Then, at night, it rises to shallower waters to feed. But we don't know for sure. We don't know its breeding grounds. We don't know how many exist. We don't even know its full range in 2017. Fishermen in the Philippines caught a megamouth in their nets. When they brought it to the surface and it opened that massive, glowing mouth, you can hear the fear in their voices on the video. Grown men who've spent their lives on the ocean, suddenly face to face with something they'd never seen before. Something that looks like it belongs on another planet. Think about that for a second. This shark was swimming in our oceans during World War II, during the Renaissance, during the Roman Empire, during the building of the pyramids, and we had no idea it existed. None. It was invisible to us until 49 years ago. So here's the existential dread that keeps marine biologists awake at night. If something this large can hide for all of human history, what else is down there? What other giants are gliding through the depths, completely unknown, completely unseen? The ocean is keeping secrets from us. Big secrets. But you know what? Sometimes the scariest thing in the ocean isn't teeth at all. Sometimes it's not even a shark. Sometimes the real nightmare has tentacles. And it's been haunting sailor stories for thousands of years. Because unlike the megamouth, this next creature isn't hiding anymore. We found it. And we wish we hadn't. Number 4. The giant squid. For centuries, sailors came back from long voyages with stories of massive tentacled beasts rising from the depths. Creatures large enough to wrap their arms around entire ships and drag them beneath the waves. The kraken. Sea monsters with eyes like shields and beaks that could snap a man in half. And for centuries, scientists dismissed these stories as drunken fantasy, exaggerations, myths born from fear, and isolation on the open ocean. They were wrong. The sailors were right. The giant squid is real, and it's so much worse than the legends ever described. We're talking about an animal that can reach 43 feet in length. 43 feet of muscle, intelligence, and predatory perfection. Its eyes are the largest in the entire animal kingdom. Each one is the size of a dinner plate. Think about that. Eyes that big evolved for one reason only: to see in the absolute darkness of the deep ocean, to track prey or predators from distances we can barely comprehend. But the eyes aren't even the most terrifying part. At the center of all those writhing tentacles sits a beak. Not teeth, a beak. Made of chitin, harder than most metals, shaped like a parrot's beak, but large enough to fit your head inside. This beak can slice through steel cable. It's designed to crush and tear through the flesh of sperm whales. Whales. Creatures that weigh 40 tons. And the giant squid hunts them. We know this because of the scars. Sperm whales surface with circular sucker marks across their bodies. Some scars are the size of dinner plates. It's burned into the whale's skin from titanic battles that happened thousands of feet below the surface. In the crushing darkness. Just squid versus whale. Pure survival? Imagine what's happening down there. A whale diving to hunt, and from the blackness, tentacles explode outward. 8 arms and 2 longer feeding tentacles, each lined with hundreds of suckers ringed with sharp teeth. The squid latches on, wraps itself around the whale's head, trying to blind it. It's trying to reach the mouth with that devastating beak. The whale thrashes, rolls, dives deeper. Sometimes the whale wins. Sometimes it doesn't. For the longest time, we only had dead specimens. Corpses that washed ashore or were found in whale stomachs. Because giant squid live at depths between 1,000 and 3,000 feet, and when you bring them to the surface, the pressure change kills them. They're ghosts of the deep, phantoms that die when exposed to our world. Then, in 2004, Japanese researchers captured the first photographs of a living giant squid in its natural habitat. It was hunting, aggressive, powerful, and in 2012, the same team got video footage. Full color, high definition, and watching that footage, seeing this creature move through the water with such alien grace, such predatory intent, scientists realized we'd been underestimating these animals for decades. Because here's the thing nobody talks about. Giant squid are intelligent. They have the most advanced nervous system of any invertebrate on Earth. Problem-solving abilities, coordination. They hunt cooperatively. They learn. This isn't just a big dumb sea monster. This is an apex predator with a brain. Oh, and one more thing that'll keep you up tonight. The giant squid has a cousin, the colossal squid. It's bigger, heavier, and instead of just sucker rings with teeth, its suckers have rotating hooks. Hooks that spin, that tear into flesh and don't let go. The Kraken was real. It's still real. It's down there right now, hunting in the darkness. Fighting battles we'll never witness, existing in a world we can barely reach. Giant squid hunt in the pitch-black depths, using those massive eyes to track prey through the void. But you know what's even more terrifying than a predator that hunts in darkness? A predator that is the darkness. A creature so perfectly adapted to the abyss that it becomes one with it. Which brings us to number 3. You've probably seen pictures of this one. That iconic image of a nightmare face with giant teeth and a glowing lure dangling from its head. It's become the poster child for deep sea horror. The thing that shows up in documentaries when they want to prove the ocean is terrifying. But what you don't know about the anglerfish is so much worse than any picture could ever show. Let's start with that lure. That glowing bulb is called an esca, and it's not just glowing on its own. It's filled with bioluminescent bacteria, living organisms that produce light. The anglerfish cultivates these bacteria, dangles them in the absolute darkness of the deep ocean, and waits. In a world with no light, where the sun is a distant memory, that lure is the only thing visible for miles. And everything down there is starving. So prey swims toward it, drawn like a moth to flame. Closer, closer, and then those teeth, transparent, needle-like, angled inward. Once something touches them, escape is impossible. The anglerfish's jaw is basically a cage that only closes tighter. Now here's the kicker. Female anglerfish can grow up to 3.5 feet long, and their stomachs are expandable. They can swallow and digest prey larger than themselves. Imagine being eaten by something smaller than you. That's the reality of the deep ocean. But that's not the nightmare I need to tell you about. The real horror of the anglerfish is what happens with the males. Are you ready for this? Because this is pure body horror. This is nature at its most disturbing. Male anglerfish are tiny, about 1/10 the size of females. And when a male finds a female in the vast darkness of the deep ocean, he doesn't just mate with her. He bites into her flesh, and then he fuses. His body literally merges with hers. His mouth dissolves into her skin. His circulatory system connects to hers. And slowly over time, he loses everything. His eyes disappear. His organs shut down. His brain deteriorates, becomes nothing more than a parasitic sac of sperm attached to the female's body. He's not a partner. He's an appendage, a living sperm bank that she carries with her for the rest of her life. And it gets worse. Multiple males confused to a single female. Scientists have found specimens with 6 or 7 males attached, just hanging there, absorbed into her body. No longer independent creatures, just biological tools. Think about what that means in the crushing darkness, thousands of feet below. The surface, These males are so desperate to reproduce that they give up their entire existence. They sacrifice everything, their identity, their independence, their very bodies, all to ensure their genes continue. That's not romance. It's existential horror. The anglerfish hunts in pitch blackness. Prey sees that single point of light, the only light in a world of endless dark, and swims toward it thinking salvation, thinking food, thinking warmth, and instead they find teeth and death. That lure is a lie, a beautiful glowing lie in the void. There are over 200 species of anglerfish, and each one is more nightmarish than the last. Different lure shapes, different teeth configurations, different fusion methods. It's like evolution looked at the concept of horror and said, let's see how many variations we can create. Nature doesn't care about your nightmares. Nature doesn't care if something looks wrong or feels wrong, or violates every instinct you have about how life should work. Down in the deep, survival is the only rule. The anglerfish plays that game better than almost anything else. But here's the question that should keep you awake tonight. If this is what evolution created in the deep ocean,
What came before?
what ancient horrors existed before the anglerfish? What creatures survived from an era so old that the anglerfish itself looks modern by comparison? Because number 2 is something that shouldn't exist. Something so alien, so far removed from what we think of as normal ocean life, that scientists had to create an entirely new classification just for it. Number 2, the vampire squid. We've reached the final level of the abyss now. The zone where even other deep-sea creatures won't go. And living there, thriving there, is something with a name that sounds like it was ripped from a gothic horror novel. Vampiratuthis, infernalis. The vampire squid from hell. And honestly, that name doesn't even do it justice. Imagine something colored blood red fading to jet black. 8 arms connected by a cape-like webbing that makes it look like it's wearing a cloak. Sharp spines protruding from those arms and eyes. Bright blue bioluminescent eyes that glow in the darkness like something demonic staring back at you from the void. This isn't just scary. This is beautiful in the most unsettling way possible. It's like something designed by nature to be the aesthetic embodiment of dread. But the appearance is nothing compared to what this creature can do. When threatened, the vampire squid doesn't flee. It doesn't attack. It turns itself inside out. Those capo-like arms invert, exposing all those spines outward, transforming itself into a spiky ball of nightmare. While it's doing that, it releases clouds of bioluminescent mucus, glowing. Blue slime that hangs in the water, confusing predators, creating a smoke screen of light in the pitch darkness. It's a defense mechanism that looks like dark magic. Now here's where this gets truly alien. The vampire squid lives in what scientists call oxygen minimum zones. Regions of the ocean where oxygen levels drop to around 3%. 3%. That's less oxygen than exists on the surface of Mars. Nothing should be able to survive there. The pressure is crushing. The darkness is absolute. There's almost no oxygen. And yet the vampire squid doesn't just survive, it thrives. Because here's the thing. It's not actually a squid. It's not an octopus either. It's its own classification. It's an evolutionary oddity that branched off from other cephalopods millions of years ago and became something else entirely. Something adapted to conditions that would kill almost any other creature on Earth. It feeds on marine snow. That's the dead organic matter that drifts down from the surface, decomposing plankton, fish waste. The waste products of the ocean filtering down into the abyss. The vampire squid is basically a janitor in hell surviving on death itself. Its metabolism is so slow that it can go months without eating. Months it just drifts in the darkness, barely moving, conserving every ounce of energy. And because of this, because of how efficient it is, some scientists theorize it could be functionally immortal in its environment. No predators, no competition, no aging as we understand it, just existing. Forever. Think about that. A creature that lives where nothing else can survive, that feeds on death, that defends itself by turning inside out and releasing glowing slime, that might never die of old age. It survives in conditions that mirror alien planets. It does a job nothing else can do. The vampire squid is the definition of alien life on Earth. It proves that we don't need to look to the stars to find something completely and utterly foreign to our understanding of biology. It's right here, right below us, swimming through zones of the ocean that might as well be outer space. We've descended through prehistoric predators, through sharks with mechanical jaws, through filter feeders lost to time, through intelligent tentacled hunters, through parasitic nightmares, through gothic horrors that defy death itself. But there's one more. Number one. And this creature is different, because it's not just terrifying in appearance or behavior. It's terrifying because of what it represents, because of what it means when it appears. The final creature is the biggest, the most mysterious, and according to legend, it's a messenger of disaster. Number one, a giant oarfish. Every culture with a coastline has legends of sea serpents. Massive, undulating dragons rising from the depths. Silver bodies stretching impossibly long. Crests like flames along their backs. For thousands of years, sailors swore they saw them. Artists drew them. Writers documented them. And for thousands of years, scientists said they were impossible. And then we found the oarfish. And we realized the legends were true. Every single one of them. The giant oarfish is the longest bony fish on planet Earth. Confirmed specimens have measured up to 36 feet long. 36 feet. Yeah, that's longer than a school bus. But there are unconfirmed reports, credible reports from experienced fishermen and sailors of oarfish exceeding 50 feet. 50 feet of pure, undulating serpent moving through the water like a living ribbon. Its body is silver, almost metallic, reflecting what little light reaches the depths. Along its back runs a bright red dorsal fin that looks like a mohawk or a dragon's crest, running the entire length of its body. It has no scales. Its skin is smooth, almost slippery looking. And when it moves, it doesn't swim like a normal fish. It undulates. It flows through the water vertically, like a dragon from mythology brought to life. The oarfish lives deep, 600 to 3,000 feet down, in the mesopelagic zone where sunlight doesn't penetrate. And here's the thing that makes this creature genuinely ominous. It only comes to the surface when it's dying, or before earthquakes. In Japan, the oarfish is called Ryugu no Tsukai, the messenger from the sea god's palace. Because according to folklore, when oarfish beach themselves, disaster follows. The terrifying part? There might be something to that legend. In the months leading up to the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, the one that killed nearly 20,000 people, 23 oarfish washed ashore in Japan. 23. These creatures that are almost never seen, suddenly appearing on beaches all along the coast. And then the earthquake hit. Magnitude 9.1. One of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded. Coincidence? Maybe, but scientists have theories. Oarfish might be sensitive to seismic activity. 2 changes in the Earth's electromagnetic field that happen before major earthquakes. They might sense something we can't, and it drives them to the surface. Or maybe the pre-quake tremors disorient them, damage their internal organs, and they surface because they're dying. Either way, when an oarfish appears, people pay attention, because historically, bad things follow. Corpses wash ashore worldwide every few years, and each time it makes headlines. Sea monster found. Dragon discovered. Leviathan on the beach. Because even dead, even decaying, these creatures look mythological. They look like they belong in ancient texts, not in our modern ocean. And here's what should truly unsettle you. We've never seen one hunt. We've never seen one reproduce. We don't know what they eat in the deep. We don't know their life cycle. We don't know how many exist. In 2013, off Catalina Island, divers encountered a living oarfish swimming near the surface. They captured video, and in that footage, you can hear the awe in their voices. One diver described it as otherworldly. Like meeting something from another dimension, the oarfish swims vertically. It hangs in the water column, head pointing up toward the distant surface, body dangling below, perfectly still, just ... waiting for what? We don't know. Prey. Environmental cues? Nobody knows. It's a behavior unlike any other fish. It defies explanation. This is the creature that inspired every sea serpent myth in human history, every dragon legend from coastal cultures, every story of massive serpents that could capsize ships. The sailors weren't making it up. They were seeing oarfish, probably dying ones, coming to the surface, undulating near boats, looking exactly like the dragons from their nightmares. The oarfish is real. It's massive. It's mysterious. And it rises from the deep when something terrible is coming, or when it's dying. And we still don't know which. We still don't understand what drives these creatures from the safety of the abyss to the fatal waters of the surface. Maybe they're messengers. Maybe they're warnings. Maybe they're just victims of forces we don't comprehend yet. But when an oarfish appears on a beach, when that silver dragon washes ashore, and people gather to stare at something that looks like it belongs in mythology, there's always that question in the back of everyone's mind. What's coming next? So there you have it. 7 real creatures that prove the ocean is far more terrifying than any horror movie could ever imagine. We started with the frilled shark, a prehistoric nightmare unchanged for 80 million years. We met the goblin shark with its mechanical jaw that shoots forward like something from Alien. We discovered the megamouth, an 18-foot giant that science didn't even know existed until 1976. We faced the giant squid, the kraken made real, battling whales in the darkness. We witnessed the body horror of the anglerfish and its parasitic reproduction. We encountered the vampire squid from hell living where nothing else can survive. And we ended with the oarfish, the dragon, the messenger, the living myth that surfaces before disaster. 7 creatures. And remember, we've only explored 5% of the ocean. 5%. In that tiny sliver of Earth's waters, we found these nightmares. So what's in the other 95%? Scientists discover over 2,000 new marine species every single year. 2,000. And those are just the ones we're finding now, in our modern age. With all our technology. The Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, is so deep that Mount Everest could fit inside it, with over a mile of water still above the peak. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about our own ocean floor, and it's not just creatures we're finding. It's sounds, mysterious sounds recorded by underwater microphones that we still can't explain. The bloop, Julia, the whistle, sounds so loud, so massive, that whatever made them would have to be bigger than a blue whale. And we have no idea what created them. These 7 creatures. These are the ones we found. These are the ones we managed to photograph, to capture, to study. But what's still down there, swimming in the unexplored darkness? What ancient predators are lurking in trenches we've never reached? What living fossils are waiting to be discovered? What new nightmares our evolution is creating right now in the crushing pressure of the deep? The ocean is Earth's last true frontier. It's more alien than Mars, more mysterious than outer space. And it's right here, right beneath us. Every time you swim in the ocean, you're floating above an entire world we barely understand. A world that's been keeping secrets since before humans even existed. So which creature haunted you the most? Was it the frilled shark's prehistoric teeth? The goblin shark's launching jaw? The anglerfish's horrifying reproduction? Let me know in the comments below, and hey, if you've made it this far. If you survived all 7 creatures without clicking away, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into the mysteries of our world. Because trust me, we've only scratched the surface of what's out there. The ocean is waiting, watching, keeping its secrets. Sleep tight, and stay out of the water.